Part 88. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 875. Not long after Qin Ji accepted Helena's contract, leaders of several major camps had already gathered in his office. Comrade Commander, are you really so determined? The purpose of the Ember is not as simple as what I told you. Soviet Rosia looked at Qin Ji sitting in the first place and said seriously. Rosia is right. Although they are now our partners and allies, there is still a certain risk in letting them join our fleet. Rashly Enterprise nodded in agreement. But it is undeniable that this is our opportunity. They are ships like us. As long as they make a contract with the commander, they will not betray easily. Moreover, the information and technology they possess are what we need at this stage. I think that although there are disadvantages, the advantages obviously outweigh the disadvantages. Besides, they have been in our port area for such a long time. Except for what they deliberately concealed, we already know everything we can know. I still agree with the commander's decision. Veneto said. King George V looked at Veneto in surprise. I didn't expect you to say such reasonable and well-founded words today. It really makes me feel a little surprised. However, my thoughts are the same as those of the Enterprise. This is too risky, and will add some unnecessary enemies, putting our fleet at the forefront, which is obviously not conducive to our future development. Are you, the royal family, afraid? Bismarck said softly. Aren't we fighting in this world just to restore peace to the world? Isn't it just to explore the reasons for everything and solve the mysteries hidden behind it? Are we fighting in this world? Do we have to stop exploring because the enemy is too powerful? Instead of shrinking back from this world and being complacent about our current strength, we should have the courage to accept some unknown things, so that we can achieve greater breakthroughs. Just like the commander said, our goal is not just to defeat the Sirens, but also to think about the longer term. I think it's too early to say all this now. We are still stuck in the quagmire of this world, and there are enemies like the Arbiter in this world. Uniting the existing forces to defeat them is what we should do now. Obviously, making good friends with Embers is beneficial to our strength and current situation. If we can absorb them, it will indeed improve our stability in this world. I support the commander's decision. Richelieu said softly. After a few people finished speaking, there was no sound anymore. The company looked at Yuxian and Musashi strangely. Don't Dong Huang and Sakura have any objections? Musashi smiled and shook his head. I think the most important thing in this matter is the commander's opinion. Our opinions can only be used as a reference. In any case, the future of the port area is under the commander's decision. As a ship, we just need to cooperate with the commander and do our job well. Yuxian looked at Qin Ji with a smile. I think the commander must have his own thoughts, so I still want to hear what the commander has to say. After hearing Dong Huang and Changying's statements, they all looked at Qin Ji. They wanted to hear what their commander meant. Qin Ji smiled and said, I understand your worries, and what you said is very reasonable, but we cannot look at this matter from the current situation and should take a longer-term view. You have to think about why Ember cooperates with us, why the Arbiter came to this world, and why we were originally in the numbered world Helena said suddenly evolved into the main world. Since all the clues and all the points point to our fleet, we must not sit still and wait for death. It is necessary for us to break through the current situation and find longer-term goals. Therefore, I decided to accept the Ember fleet and make a contract with the Ember fleet who are willing to follow me to explore the deeper reasons. It seems that the commander does know something that we don't know, so can you tell us now? There is also a slightly interesting question, that is, the commander already has Helena, why can he still contract Helena from Ember? Is their relationship just like the relationship between Kaga and Luan? Musashi smiled. Qin Ji shook his head. No, in fact, I asked Helena this question, and she said that they were ships transformed from battleships, which means that they had entities before, and then underwent transformation similar to yours. Powered by the mind cube, it became what it is now. Logically speaking, their situation is called a prototype ship. In other words, no matter how many worlds there are, they are still the original ship. Instead, ship girls or ships in other worlds are all born after extracting their memes. They are the original, completely different from other ships and ship girls. Therefore, they have the most special properties and are not limited by the adaptability of the mental cube. Is that so? Everyone had different expressions, but they all looked like they were suddenly enlightened. As for what you don't know, this is what Helena told me before. Shinji then told several ship girls all of Helena's previous remarks. Anyway, like what Song Kinga told him before, he was absolutely won't say it. Because if those situations are told to his ship now, if someone accidentally shows something wrong, the consequences may be a little embarrassing. It would be better to hide it from them until the truth finally comes out. At that time, they will know even if he doesn't need to tell them. So that's it. I asked why Ember is only interested in our fleet and has no thoughts at all about other camps in this world and other commanders of the Grand Fleet. So for them, these are just the evolution of the program. Soviet Rosia suddenly realized that she only figured out some of the things involved here after Shinji told her. So now that the commander is the focus of the world, all actions taken by the Siren or the Arbiter will revolve around the commander. Enterprise frowned. Shinji nodded. It's almost like this, so it is precisely because of this that I accepted the Ember fleet. They are now dependent on each other for a common goal. Although it has always been a cooperative relationship, it may be out of our control at any time. If this is the case, then it is better to turn them into real people like us. At least have this power in our own hands, which is much better than them being uncertain. Everyone nodded. Then we almost understand. Now that they are about to join our fleet, all subsequent decisions will have to make some changes. It's like this, so I'll trouble everyone next. Shinji nodded. It's okay, Commander. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 876. At night, on the sea near Guam. A gray figure stood alone on the sea, staring at the brightly lit port in the distance, as if waiting for something. Not long after, two figures suddenly appeared beside the gray figure. Have you been waiting for a long time? A familiar voice rang, and it was Helena of Ember. It won't be long, the gray figure said. Actually, it doesn't matter if you come to the port area. We can contact Dreamweaver at any time, Helena said, looking at the figure in front of her. I'm used to being alone for such a long time, the gray figure said, and then he looked at Helena as if he thought of something. Shinji's aura? Are you contracted? Helena smiled and nodded. Isn't this the same as what we agreed at the time? Join his fleet at the right time. Indeed, the purpose of my visit this time is actually the same. According to Laplace Demon's calculations, his fleet is expected to be completely transformed into ships in 1 year, and its strength can reach the limit of this world. During this time, you must all join his fleet and try to improve his strength to meet the final assessment. The gray figure said. Understood, that's the purpose of our coming here. Feelong nodded. By the way, will anyone come over there in the future? Yes, in half a year, Arizona, Sheffield, Goddess of Destiny and others will come to this world, the gray figure said. Then there must be a few more arbiters, right? Helena asked. Yes, Lavos is ready. The battle will be an arbitration linkage composed of 5 arbiters, the gray figure said. Haha, I'm afraid such a battle can only be found in that dimension, right? Feelong laughed. What about Kaohsiung? It stands to reason that she is also fast. Kaohsiung is preparing other things. In short, you will see her when this matter is over, the gray figure said. Haha, interesting. What about that universe? Isn't that adult's company in contact with you? Helena asked. The universe is almost ready, and it has now reached the final stage. It's just that the adult is a little entangled between the two planet environments, the gray figure said. Two planet environments? Fei Long asked doubtfully. Yes, one is the Gaia planet and the other is the ring world. The Gaia planet is a magical planet in that universe. No matter what type of home planet a species is, they can survive on the Gaia planet. Even according to the sex will be higher than the mother planet. As for the ring world, it is a man-made technological world built around a star. It uses the most cutting-edge science and technology, which will be very useful for the future development of that universe. The gray figure said. Tisk, it's really amazing. I really want to go to that universe right away and experience a life different from the past. Helena smiled. Actually, it won't be long, just over a year or so. When everything settles, it will be time for us to set off, the gray figure said. Enterprise, will that universe be full of war? Fei Long suddenly asked. Maybe, but then we won't be as embarrassed as we are now. At that time, we will fight for ourselves and our own existence, the gray figure said. Fighting for yourself? Helena smiled. Maybe by then, the commander will be surprised. It's okay, we're still here. After the gray figure finished speaking, he raised his eyes and looked at the port area in the distance. You should go back. There will be a patrol in 10 minutes. Don't let them discover your abnormality. Understood, then see you then. Goodbye. When Qin Ji came to the Ember building the next day, he found that all the Ember ship girls were there, even Scharnhorst and Nizanah, who often stayed at the experimental site, were back. Of course, there is one person missing inside, and that is Ark Royal, who is currently locked in a solitary room. But even the reputation and counterattack didn't say anything about Ark Royal's behavior, so this can be considered a tacit understanding. Qin Ji walked to Helena, nodded to her, and then looked at the others. I believe you already know my intention of coming today. Helena and I signed a contract yesterday, and now she has become my ship girl. Ship, now I want to ask for your opinion. If you are willing to join my fleet, then we can sign a contract now. If you have doubts about me, you can continue to be in the port area. It's a partnership. Helena's decision is our decision. Commander Qin Ji doesn't have to worry too much, Fu Zhang said to Qin Ji. It's just that we have experienced too many things, and we may not be like ordinary ships. We hope to arrive. It's time to hire a commander who can take more care of you. Qin Ji nodded to Fu Zhang. I understand what you said, and I have made preparations. After the contract is signed, you and my ship girl will be the same. But I won't say much about your actions. Say anything, but the premise is that you at least let me know what you are going to do. Of course, if you need my cooperation, you can tell me the reason and I will actively cooperate with you. Commander Qin Ji's words are a bit too foreign. If we join your fleet, then we will be your ship. Just like your ship, we will surround you and obey your orders. Reputation said calmly. And we have fought side by side with each other. We are very confident in your abilities, Commander Qin Ji, so we don't need to be too special. I just hope that you can tolerate some of the personalities among us. Understood. Qin Ji nodded. Then let's start the contract. Who will come first? After Qin Ji finished speaking, he looked at the numerous Ember ships. Fei Long came out first. I'll go first. Qin Ji nodded, then stretched out his right hand and said to Fei Long, then you are welcome to join my port, Fei Long. Fei Long stretched out his right hand at the same time and shook Qin Ji's hand. A light-colored light first emitted from the position where the two shook hands. This was a spiritual connection, exactly the same as when Helena made the contract before. After the light dispersed, Fei Long looked at Qin Ji and said, I am Fei Long, the Fei Long of the Second Air War. Since I have joined, I will obey your command. I hope, you are truly qualified to command the fleet. Believe me, I will lead you to victory, Qin Ji said. Fei Long nodded, and Qin Ji let go of each other's hands. Kang Long then stepped forward, looked at Qin Ji and said, "Originally, this position belongs to the Royal Ark, but she is still in the confinement room, so it is my turn to be the second one. Aircraft carrier, 2nd Aviation Battle Soryu. I will keep an eye on you until you become a good enough commander. Welcome to join my fleet, I will work hard." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 877. The addition of the Ember Fleet did not change the port area much. Everyone was still doing what they were supposed to do, but Qin Ji's office became a little lively. Helena, who usually seems far away, often comes to Qin Ji's office. In other words, except for helping in the Scientific Research Center, she usually stays in Qin Ji's office, as if it is her office. "Commander, today's documents have been processed here. Should we go on patrol next?" Tianying said while looking at Helena next to Xiang. She knew about the contract between Qin Ji and Yi Yan. After all, during this period of time, she was Qin Ji's secretary ship. In fact, she is quite happy about this matter. After all, the addition of Ember can greatly improve the strength of her port area. However, she discovered that since signing the contract, Helena of Ember came to her commander's office from time to time, which disrupted her time with Qin Ji. After all, there are too many people in Minato now. If everyone has a week, it will be a long time before the next time it is their turn. Now, Sky Eagle has a strong opinion on Helena. However, this opinion cannot be expressed directly, but it is something that affects the harmony of the port area. Qin Ji looked at Tianying's appearance, then looked at the smiling face there, and suddenly seemed to understand something. He nodded. "It's indeed time to go on patrol now, so get ready and let's set off." Helena smiled at this time and said, "Are you going on patrol? Then I will go with you." "No need, patrolling is a matter for the secretary ship and the commander. Miss Helena should rest here," Sky Eagle said instantly. The lady was now in a very annoyed mood. Although patrolling is a matter for the secretary ship and the commander, there is no rule that says I can't follow you, right? Helena smiled, not paying any attention to Tianying's words. Qin Ji smiled and said, "I remember that you still have something to do at the Scientific Research Center? Doesn't it matter if you delay time like this? Although there is no problem, since the commander said so, I will go to the Scientific Research Center first, and then remember to contact me after the patrol." Helena smiled, then turned and left the office. Seeing Helena leaving, Sky Eagle finally breathed a sigh of relief. Qin Ji couldn't help but laugh when he saw this scene. Is it necessary to look like this? Tianying looked at Qin Ji and said helplessly, "Commander, you are laughing at me again." Originally, the replacement of the secretary ship was very slow. Like this time, I will have to wait until I finish the secretary ship before I make the secretary ship again. Several years later, there will be very few opportunities to be alone with the commander. Don't you know that everyone in the port area is looking forward to becoming a secretary ship? I'll go out with you a few more times this week. Even if something is delayed, it will have to be made up for in the end. Qin Ji touched his nose, and there was indeed a very strange phenomenon in the port area, that is, wedding ships like Guanghui no longer cared about dating Qin Ji or not. Anyway, Qin Ji would take time to accompany them every week, so they wouldn't argue about anything. Others must fight for it now, otherwise, it is very likely that they will not be able to be alone with Qin Ji for a month or even a long time. The secretary ship position has become the position that everyone expects. In fact, Qin Ji also had a headache about this. He could naturally guess the thoughts of the ship girls, but nay, he was too busy with his tasks. Someone has mentioned the arrangement of the secretaryship before. Although it was reasonable when there were few people, it became very unreasonable when there were more people. There are only a few dozen weeks in a year, but now there are more than 500 ship girls in the port area. From the first to the last, they have to queue for several years or even 10 years. Therefore, some people suggest changing a secretaryship every day, but even so, it will take more than a year after one rotation. And if war or other things happen midway, it will have to be put on hold. Now facing the question, Tianying said, Qin Ji could only rub his nose and said, I know what you mean. So when Helena said to follow her just now, I deliberately sent her away. I saw it, so I told these things to the commander, Tianying said helplessly and awkwardly. Originally, as a lady, I can't do these things, but she has been here quite frequently in the past few days. And it's been 3 days since the commander went out with me. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile. He knew the crux was here. Okay, don't I have time now? Then let's go patrol the port area. After the patrol, then go for a walk on the beach. Skyhawk laughed. Is it just the two of us? Well, it's just the two of us. Didn't you say that I didn't accompany you to the beach party last time? Why don't you take off your swimsuit when you get to the dormitory later, and then we go to the beach together, Qin Ji suggested. That's great, Commander, so let's go quickly, Tianying said with a smile. Walk. Qin Ji finished speaking very cheerfully and left the office with Tianying. The patrol journey went very smoothly, or in other words, there was no place to patrol at all. The leaders of several camps were here, arranging the events in the entire port area in an orderly manner. And the most important thing is that it is the class time of the port school, so most of the destroyers and submarines are not playing in the port area, but in the school. But even so, it took a relatively long time to patrol the entire port area. Stopping in front of the dormitory building, Tianying smiled at Qin Ji and went upstairs to get clothes. As for Qin Ji, he thought about it and felt that it would be better to wear beach pants, so he returned to himself's room. Just when he was about to open the cabinet to get something, Belfast opened the door and walked in. Master, are you going to pick up your clothes and go to the beach? Belfast asked with a smile. Qin Ji asked doubtfully, did you see it when I just came in? No, this is my instinct as a maid. And at this time, the commander should have just finished patrolling the port area. Logically speaking, Miss Skyhawk should take advantage of this time to date you, but you are here now. Then the most likely thing is to come back to pick up things. If two people are going on a date, it stands to reason that the host will not bring anything with him. So now the only things that can be returned to pick up are clothes, and it is summer outside. The short-sleeved clothes the owner is wearing can fully cope with most occasions. If he needs to come back to pick up now, it means that the owner is going to the waterside. Explained Belfast. Well, Belfast, you are really wronging yourself if you don't learn reasoning, Qin Ji said helplessly. Master needs to know that Sheffield is an agent of our Royal Maid Corps, and she was directed by me. Belfast smiled. Okay, are you okay? Qin Ji shrugged. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 878. Actually, Her Majesty the Queen invited the Master to attend the tea party, but I think the Master would refuse, right? Belfast said with a smile. Qin Ji rolled his eyes. You've already said it for me, so what else should I say? Sighing, he took out his beach shorts and threw them on the bed, then closed the cabinet door and said, a lot of things happened this week. There was a beach party, and Ember joined again. And you should have heard about it, Helena. He's been in my office a lot lately, which makes Skyhawk a little unhappy. So I finally got rid of her this afternoon and planned to go to the beach to make amends to Tianying. If I go to Elizabeth's tea party now, what will Skyhawk think? Belfast smiled. I knew the Master would say that, but don't frown, otherwise it won't look good. With that said, Belfast stepped forward and hugged Chin-ji. Originally, my master found it very difficult to deal with such things, but now that so much has changed, don't you still feel that it is not enough? Chin-ji touched Belfast's hair with his hand. Well, it's true that sometimes I have too many resources to do. It's okay to be like you. At least I can see you every day and chat with you every day. But like Aquila, or to put it further, such as Shensu and the others, Wichita and the others, Myoko and the others, in fact, sometimes they are really unable to do what they want. You need to learn to deal with some official duties every day, which will take up most of your time, followed by patrol, and after that, go on a date with the secretaryship. By the time we come back, it's already evening. We may only see a dozen or so ship girls in a day, and sometimes only dozens. To be honest, I think that more and more people in the fleet is a good thing, but it is not necessarily a good thing. Belfast smiled and shook his head. Master, the problem here is that you are too responsible. You want to share your heart equally with everyone, you want everyone to be happy, everyone is happy. But there are no such simple things in the world. Nothing can be said to be perfect. There will always be regrets in people's lives. Just like our ships, capital ships are not as flexible as our destroyers and cruisers, but our cruisers also do not have as powerful firepower as capital ships. Everything requires trade-offs, and not everyone can be so happy. And now you have done a good job. Everyone lives happily in Minato City every day, everyone has something to do, and everyone has a strong sense of belonging. This is enough. It doesn't mean that everyone has to be loved by you, cared for by you, or be alone with you. Don't walk into a dead end. Sometimes two people being together doesn't have to be about love. It can be friendship, or it can be a feeling of working together for a common goal. Chin-ji was stunned. Is that so? Have I really entered a dead end? That's right, Belfast said with a smile. Chin-ji rolled his eyes. Then since you clearly knew that I had entered a dead end, why didn't you tell me earlier? You had to make me feel so uncomfortable. Belfast said with a smile, because I thought the master was going to create a big harem, so I always got along with everyone in an emotional state. Chin-ji was speechless. Spare me, the harem is really not suitable for me. Well, although my current situation is no different from that of the harem, I really don't plan to give rings to everyone in the port area, at least I have no plans to marry everyone in Minato. Belfast smiled. So, seeing the master looking so troubled, I am here to remind you. Sometimes a good relationship doesn't necessarily require a vow, and sometimes a vow doesn't mean marriage. We are ships, similar to humans, but also different from humans. We are born with the nature of ships. As long as we live in one place, we are content. The port area is our safe haven, and the place with the owner is our port area. Sometimes we don't need much communication, as long as we let our eyes see you and see you hear, that's it. So these are what the owner should understand. Sometimes it is vigorous and sweet, and it is not suitable for everyone. Long-term companionship and warm smile are the ways to make everyone happy. Long-term companionship and warm smile, Chin-ji said slowly and thoughtfully, maybe I understand that companionship is the longest confession of love, and staying together is the most romantic love words. Maybe that's what it means. Haha, it seems that the master finally understands. Belfast smiled, and then left Chin-ji's arms. In that case, I have to say goodbye. I also want to repay Her Majesty the Queen and tell her that the commander cannot attend her tea party because of something else, otherwise it would be very rude. Belfast explained. What's more, the master is not going to accompany Miss Skyhawk. At this time, I guess she is already a little anxious waiting? Chin-ji nodded. Indeed, then Bifa will apologize to Elizabeth for me and wait until next time when I have time to attend his tea party. Yes, Master. Belfast bowed as a maid, and then smiled. I hope you have a pleasant afternoon. Thanks. After Belfast left, Chin-Ji picked up the beach shorts and left the room. Sure enough, when I got downstairs, Tianying was already waiting there. Commander, Tianying breathed a sigh of relief and immediately came forward. Sorry, Bifa just came over to tell me that Elizabeth wanted to invite me to her tea party, which delayed me for a while, Chin-Ji said to Tianying. Eh? Are you going to the tea party, Commander? Tianying's heart suddenly lifted. Chin-Ji smiled and shook the bag in his hand. Now, I have brought the beach shorts over, where else can I go? I can't wear beach shorts to Elizabeth's place, can I? Tianying blushed. Indeed, but doesn't it matter if you refuse Queen Elizabeth's tea party? Ha, just go there next time, it's just a tea party. Besides, I've already told Belfast that she will help. Chin-Ji smiled and comforted, and I think I have to accompany you today. Otherwise, I would feel bad. Thank you for your understanding, Commander. It's just a little too difficult, Tianying said with a smile. Chin-Ji couldn't help but laugh. Haha, it's indeed a bit too difficult. Let's go and enjoy the afternoon beach time. Yes, Commander, Tianying nodded. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 879. Phew, we're finally here. Not far ahead, it should be Guam. It's true according to the map. Is it okay for us to just land on the island like this? I think there should be no problem. This matter is a matter of cooperation agreement between the major camps and Commander Chin-Ji. Even so, I think we don't have to think so much. Someone is already waiting for us. Several ship girls stopped gliding on the sea, because not far from them, a figure was slowly approaching. It looks like she's an iron-blooded ship girl. But why didn't it show up on our radar before? Have you forgotten that Commander Chin-Ji has another kind of ship girl besides his ship girl in this port area? You mean, she is an ember? That should be it, and the temperament on his body shows how many battles he has experienced. How much despair he has experienced. Well, will she come over and beat us up? I said, you are an ember ship girl, not a siren. Why are you beating you up? Besides, we are here on official business this time, and we did not intentionally break into the sea. Okay, stop talking, we need to enter the communication range. Oh. Hello, we are the dreadnought of the White Eagle, the Royal Sheffield, the Speed of the Northern Union, the Dragoons of the Sardinian Empire, the Iron-blooded Leipzig, the Terrible of the Free Iris and Foch of the Vichy Vatican. The purpose of coming here is to complete the implementation of the communication signals between Commander Chin-Ji and our camp. We apologize for any intrusion. In fact, Ember Scharnhorst on the other side was also a little puzzled. Some new results appeared at the experimental site today. It happened that she had not returned to the port area for a while, so she took over this task from Bismarck and prepared to deliver it. File and tell Chin-Ji some news. As a result, when the operation reached the waters surrounding Guam, they were keenly aware of the approach of a group of ship girls. Although he has not seen most of the ship girls, Scharnhorst can still judge from their auras that they should belong to several other camps. But as soon as he reached the communication distance, he received a slightly panicked response from the other party. Was he that scary? And he should be the first to speak, right? Although he muttered in his heart, Scharnhorst would never show it on the surface, I am Scharnhorst, and I will guide you on the next trip. Please follow my trajectory, and I will lead you. You go to see the commander. Thanks. Leipzig on the other side breathed a sigh of relief. When he was about to say something, he didn't see Bai Ying's fearless eyes narrowing. Commander, could it be said that Yi Yan has joined Commander Chin-Ji's fleet? This is incredible news, we must tell the company as soon as possible. Even if you want to tell me, you must at least build a communication tower, otherwise are you planning to cross the Pacific again? After Sheffield finished speaking, he skated directly in the direction of Scharnhorst. The other people looked at each other, nodded helplessly, and immediately followed. After a period of sailing, under the leadership of Scharnhorst, everyone successfully landed from the outer port area. Although she joined Qin Ji's fleet not long ago, she still knows the rules of the port area very well. The inner port area only allows people from the own port area to enter, while the outer port area is used for diplomacy. And the moment they stepped onto the ground, someone was already waiting here. Welcome to our port area. It has been a very hard journey. Next, I will arrange a place for you to stay and rest. I will arrange for you to meet the commander tomorrow, Enterprise said with a smile. Thank you very much, Enterprise. I nodded and said, and at the same time felt the feeling of importance. Then I'll leave the arrangements here to you. I need to go to the commander to report my work first, Scharnhorst said to her when he saw the company taking over. I understand. Please tell the commander about the situation here, Enterprise nodded. I will. After Scharnhorst said this, he turned around and jumped into the sea, heading towards the inner harbor at an extremely fast speed. Although it is not early now, Qin Ji has not left the office yet. It wasn't because there were more documents, but because Helena was revealing some knowledge to him that he didn't know before. Such knowledge includes some interesting technologies such as ship modifications, technological development, etc. Although it is impossible for Qin Ji to learn many things here just by relying on Helena's explanations, he at least knows about it and can keep up with the rhythm of the original world's technology. These are Helena's goals. After all, Qin Ji will go to another universe in the future. If he still treats development with the existing technology, he will suffer a big loss, so it is a little lesson to make up for it. Just as the two were chatting happily, there was a knock on the office door, and Scharnhorst walked in. Hey, Scharnhorst. Aren't you at the experimental site? Why did you come back suddenly? Qin Ji asked doubtfully. Go back to the port area and take a look. I received a notification from Bismarck to submit some documents to the commander. Scharnhorst stretched out her hand, and several documents appeared in her hand and were placed on the table. Qin Ji took it and took a look, only to see that there were secret documents stamped with red seals, and he immediately understood something. He raised his head and said to Scharnhorst, "Thank you for your hard work. Now that you are back, let's take a good rest." It doesn't matter, this doesn't matter at all. Maybe for me before, this life now is considered a rest, Scharnhorst said. By the way, there are a few things I need to report to you. Well, just say it. On my way back, I met envoys from the major camps along the Atlantic coast in the sea. I have brought them back to the port area and landed at the outer port. They will be received by the company and I should meet you tomorrow," said Scharnhorst. Qin Ji nodded. I understand. According to the time calculation, they should indeed come this time. The purpose of this time is to build a communication base station. At least it will not cause us to be unable to contact other camps last time. Is there anything else? Scharnhorst looked at Helena, and then said to Qin Ji, and in the next period of time, Antix's experimental troops will gradually reappear in the sea. Qin Ji was stunned. Has the mass-produced siren finally appeared again? Yes, and the purifiers have also left the experimental site, and they should be preparing corresponding experimental plans. But obviously their target will not be us, but they still cannot relax their vigilance, Scharnhorst said. I understand. Is there anything else? Qin Ji said. There are some little things. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Ji. Chapter 880. Seeing Scharnhorst leaving, Qin Ji narrowed his eyes and turned to look at Helena, who was drinking tea at the side. Logically speaking, Antix's current target should only be us, right? Why did she say that? Isn't Antix's target this time not us? Commander, you must remember one thing clearly. The experimental agency and the arbitration agency belong to two departments respectively. Although they belong to Antix, their responsibilities are completely different. Antique's experimental mechanism has world limitations, but the arbiter's arbitration mechanism does not. The current situation is that the arbitration agency is targeting us, but Antix's experimental agency still has to continue conducting experiments around the world. Although, as you said, other experimental targets are actually not as strong as our fleet, but we can still get a lot of experimental data from them. And compared to experimenting with them, the price paid is much smaller than experimenting with us. I estimate that a large part of their resources have been recruited by the arbitration agency, so they are unable to organize a plan to launch experiments in our port area. Helena explained. Qin Ji touched his chin. Interesting, so if I alert the other major camps, will it be impossible for Antix's experimental plan to succeed? No, observers are good at discerning human nature, and the major camps are not close to each other. There are still some entangled interests among them. As long as they are slightly alienated and provoked, it is easy for them to clear up the situation. Appeared. And after the last war, every camp will be very restrained this time and will not use their trump cards until the last moment. So what you can see is a tug of war that lasts as long as before. Helena explained. Qin Ji nodded. What you said makes sense, but as a collaborator, I feel it is necessary for me to inform them, and this time envoys from the big camp have also come. I believe that Dong Huang and Chang Zhong have arrived in the past 2 days. Sakura's messenger will also arrive. At that time, it will be necessary to convene a meeting between the leaders of the major camps. Now is no longer the time for each camp to clear its doors. The last siren tide was a warning. These are the commander's decisions, you just have to think them over. And with your current status and strength, you are qualified to say these words. Maybe it can promote the unity of the world. Helena smiled. Road. Qin Ji smiled and said, promoting unity in this world? I'm afraid I'm not that powerful, right? I think we can give it a try. Only when we unify the scattered forces into one will we have more powerful force to fight against our enemies. Helena smiled. Okay, I'll give it a try then, Qin Ji said. By the way, I'm going to attend a tea party at Elizabeth's place later. Will you go? I won't go. Situations like those belonging to elegant women are not suitable for me. I'll go to the scientific research center later. The commander's water navigation device mentioned before is almost developed. Maybe it can be completed in the next 2 days. It would be better for me to do a quality review. Helena stood up and said. Qin Ji nodded with interest. To be honest, I can't wait. A device that can glide on the water must be very exciting. Haha, but gliding on the water is different from walking. It is better for the commander to stay on the command ship without going into the water, Helena said. Yes, but with this, if there is a problem with the command ship or it reaches the sea area where the command ship cannot sail, I don't need anyone to help me carry it. You must know that I am also a grown man, and it will be very embarrassing if I am always carried by you. Yes, Qin Ji touched his nose and said. Haha, I don't think so, Helena said. Well, let's do this for now, wait until the device is formed, Qin Ji said. After completing today's work and patrolling the port area, Qin Ji came to Elizabeth's residence. This is a very British-style palace built in the port area. It used to be the resting place of the royal ship girl. Since Elizabeth was summoned, the royal ship girl arranged Elizabeth's residence here. You are too slow, common people. After receiving the king's invitation, you actually refused it 3 times. Moreover, you were late this time. You are really not polite at all. Elizabeth watched Qin Ji walk into the tea party and said with a hint of complaint. Qin Ji smiled, but did not take Elizabeth's words to heart. After all, Several of his wedding ships and the ship girls with whom he had good relationships had already explained to Qin-Ge Elizabeth's more arrogant character, for fear of getting along with her in the future. Among them, Qin-Ge would be angry because of this. There are many things in the port area. Basically, I have to participate in the decision-making of major things, so I have been unable to attend many meetings. What I said today is because Scharnhorst came back from the experimental site and explained some things. It was a waste. I have more time, so I want to say sorry first, Qin-Ge said with a smile. His tone was very polite but not too humble. Humph, since you have said so, I will forgive you graciously. After Elizabeth finished speaking, she looked sideways at Belfast, who was snickering beside her. Before, show him his seat. Belfast bowed. Yes, Her Majesty the Queen. Then he turned around and came to Qin-Ge's side. Master, please come this way. Qin-Ge sat down under Belfast's service. Hood, who was sitting next to Elizabeth, looked over and said, Commander, is Scharnhorst back because something happened at the experimental site? Something did happen. Qin-Ge nodded. The purifier left the testing site, and Antix's new round of experiments is about to begin, but this time the target is not us, but others. Several major camps. But we can't relax, after all, who knows what Antix and the others think. Moreover, the production of the planned ship is also proceeding smoothly, and the drawings are now being completed very smoothly. We will be able to get the new planned ship drawings probably next month. Also, when she came back, she met envoys from the major camps along the Atlantic coast on the way, so starting from tomorrow, the time will be even tighter. It's been such an eventful time. Not even a year has passed since the peace, and a new battle has begun, Guanghui said quietly. Qin-Ge smiled and said, there is nothing we can do about it. As long as Antix is not completely defeated in this world, the world will not be peaceful. Fortunately, the strength of our fleet has increased significantly this time, and we can handle it even if some emergencies occur. As long as the arbitration agency is not dispatched, it will not be our turn to cause trouble. Indeed, then let's enjoy the hard-earned peaceful afternoon. Maybe for a long time from now on, a life like this will be a luxury, Hood said with a smile. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 881. Welcome to my port area. You've had a hard journey. Please prepare some wine. I hope you don't mind. At night, Qin-Ge attended a banquet organized in the outer port area. The purpose of the banquet was to welcome envoys from various camps along the Atlantic coast. Now Qin-Ge's port area can be regarded as a prestigious force, and a program like this must be in place. Moreover, there were also leaders of various camps attending the banquet with Qin-Ge. Even if he is not a leader, he is still a senior member of the camp. This is also a sign of respect for the special envoys of each camp. Commander Qin-Ge is serious. Such a banquet is already very sumptuous. Please make such preparations. I smiled at Qin-Ge. No trouble, this is what you should do. When you come here, you represent your respective camps. Of course I will entertain you with the highest etiquette, Qin-Ge said with a smile. By the way, have you come all the way here? Did you find anything strange on the way? Is it weird? Several people looked at each other and shook their heads. If we really want to say something strange, it's that we didn't see a single mass-produced version of the siren all the way here. It's like the world where the siren disappeared. It's really incredible, Foch said seriously. Qin-Ge nodded. Based on Foch's answer just now, he could deduce that at least before they came to Guam, there was no mass-produced siren in the sea area. Well, I would like to ask, if you go all out to build a communication tower, how long will it take to successfully build it? Qin-Ge asked. Of course, our port area can also provide you with some help when necessary. Huh? Commander Qin-Ge is in a hurry, Sheffield asked. There is indeed some anxiety. I just got the information that the sirens will become active again within this period of time, and their goal this time is to target the major camps. Qin Ji looked at several people and said, "Ah, it's such a message. How accurate is the message?" Wu Wei asked in surprise. "If it's urgent, we can activate emergency contact measures, and we can also transmit information, but we can't carry out long-term continuous communication." Qin Ji suddenly thought of the special communicator with Dong Huang, and he couldn't help but understand, and then said, "I won't joke with you on such a big event. It is precisely because of this that I asked you before when you came here. Didn't encounter anything strange on the road? Judging from your answers, the siren's action has not yet begun, but it is not far away from the beginning. You'd better notify your camp in time before Operation Siren begins so that they can prepare. Don't become as careless as last time and cause more losses." Thinking of the consequences of the last siren tide, everyone's hearts trembled. The lesson learned last time was still in their minds because they did not follow Qin Ji's advice. They must not make such a mistake this time. And even if the second siren doesn't attack, it's not a bad thing to be prepared in advance. "Understood, Commander Qin Ji. When the banquet is over, we will use exclusive communication equipment to contact our camp and let them prepare in advance," Wu Wei said quickly. "But when it comes to building a communication tower, it should take nearly a month. The most important thing is the laying of the lines. The communication tower can be built directly and it only takes a few days. So that's what it looks like. In short, it's the same as what I said before. If you need any help, please ask it in time. I will let my ship girl assist you. Try to build the communication tower successfully as soon as possible. When the time comes, in the event of a sudden change, it will be easier to contact the other major camps," Qin Ji said. "Thank you very much for Commander Qin Ji's generosity, we will do it," KK said. "Yes," Qin Ji smiled and nodded, "I've taken up your banquet time. I'd like to say sorry here. The rest of the time belongs to you. The company and the others will be here to accompany you. If you have anything to do, just let them know." "Thank you, Commander Qin Ji." Qin Ji did not stay long. After all, this banquet was held for a few of them, and staying here alone would make them feel restrained. It would be better to let them communicate with the special envoys, so that they could be more relaxed. When walking back from Weigong district, Qin Ji couldn't help but stop when passing a restaurant with Dong Huan characteristics. Looking at the bright lights inside, I thought about it and walked in. As soon as I walked to the door, I heard a familiar voice, "Welcome, Light, Commander." Qin Ji followed the sound and found Heike standing next to the counter, looking at him with a slightly surprised expression. "Good evening, Heike," Qin Ji smiled. "Good evening." Heike was stunned for a moment, then ran out, "Commander, why did you remember to come here so late?" "I just came back from the banquet hall in Weigong district. I passed by and saw that the lights were still on, so I wanted to come in and have a look," Qin Ji explained. He, it turns out like this. I thought the commander came here specially," Heike said with a smile. "Do you want to eat? Sister Yuxian hasn't rested yet." Qin Ji touched his belly and said, "Come on, whatever you want. By the way, is Hai Tian here too?" "Yes," Heike said. "Then let's call her by the way," Qin Ji said. "Well, will the commander be on the first floor or the second floor, or in a private room?" Heike asked. "Let's go to the second floor. Climb up and look far," Qin Ji smiled. "Okay, Commander, go up first, and I'll call Sister Yuxian and the others," Heike said, and ran into the inner room to the side. Qin Ji didn't stop, walked directly to the second floor, chose a seat with a window and sat down. Looking through the window, you can see the lighthouse in the port area shining on the sea. There was not much wind tonight, the sea was calm, and it was a quiet night. Not long after looking at it, a figure appeared on the edge of the stairs, carrying a teapot and a teacup, and walked over slowly with a graceful figure. Hearing the footsteps on the wooden floor, Qin Ji looked back and said, "Haha, Hai Tian, I'm a little disturbed so late." "How can you say it's an interruption? Commander has such a leisurely and elegant temperament. We should be lucky to be here." Hai Tian smiled and sat down and handed Qin Ji tea. "Sister Yuxian will go and give you some tea. It's time to cook. It will probably take a while before you can come over. By the way, why didn't Sister Jinhai come back with you? She is still in the banquet hall." Although there are no Donghuang personnel here this time, as a high-level executive in the port area, she still has to communicate more with other camp envoys, Qin Ji said with a smile. "So does this count as the commander escaping?" Hai Tian said with a smile. "Doesn't it count?" Qin Ji touched his nose. "They can't let go of me when I'm there. My status is different now, so I just leave all this to Jinhai and Enterprise." "That's right," Hai Tian said and looked out the window. "The night is really nice today." "Yes, the wind is also gentle." My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 882. Not long after chatting with Hai Tian, Yuxian's figure appeared at the top of the stairs. She came over carrying several plates of exquisite side dishes. "Thank you, Yuxian," Qin Ji said with a smile. "What's the trouble? It's just a few side dishes, and we are very happy that the commander has time to come here." Yuxian placed the dishes on the table and sat down and said, "By the way, Commander, do you want a drink? Wouldn't it be a waste of such a beautiful time and beautiful scenery if we didn't drink some wine?" Qin Ji said with a smile. "Haha, that's true. I just happened to bring some." Yuxian opened his ship's space and took out a bottle of wine to pour for Qin Ji, himself and Hai Tian. "As the flagship of Donghuang, why did you arrange to go to Jinhai this time?" Qin Ji looked at Yuxian and asked. "Jinhai has been in this port area longer than me, and has a good relationship with the commander, and can talk to other camps, so I think she is the best choice. Now I have seniority in the fleet. It's relatively shallow, so there's no need to be so anxious," Yuxian explained. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile. "Don't pay too much attention to these. Although the number of people in Donghuang is relatively small now, you are also an indispensable force in the port area. Don't underestimate yourselves. I'm really happy that Commander can say that, but to Donghuang, everyone is a sister, no matter who goes there, so Commander, don't think too much," Yuxian said. "Okay, but I'm glad you didn't go. At least you can chat with me now," Qin Ji said with a smile. "By the way, how many people come to Donghuang Tavern every day?" "It's not bad, everyone in the port area likes it very much," Yuxian said. "So you'll be the one cooking after coming here?" Qin Ji asked. "That's not necessarily true. Ninghai and Pinghai are here usually. They spend a lot of time cooking, and I have less time. I can help them when I see them occasionally," Yuxian said. "Well, I know this, and Ninghai is very capable, and sometimes Hai Chi will help." Hai Tian smiled. "Okay, although the purpose of building Donghuang restaurant is to allow people in Donghuang and the port area to communicate more, don't tire yourself," Qin Ji said. "I know, don't worry, Commander, we know what to do," Yuxian nodded. "Well, news has come from the experimental field in the past 2 days. The progress of the planned ship is very smooth. Soon, Donghuang may have added a top planned ship. By then, compared with other camps, there will not be too many pressure. Moreover, the modification props for Anshan and Changchun have been made immediately. By then they can use missiles and they can be regarded as main ships," Qin Ji said. "Then this is really great, but no matter what, we at Donghuang will always follow the commander and support you," Yuxian said happily. "Ha, that's right," Qin Ji nodded. "Come, let's eat and drink together. The night is beautiful tonight. You can go back later." "Haha, that's great. Building communication tower facilities is not just a matter of a few special envoys. It also requires the help of people in the Hong Kong area to provide corresponding building materials and so on. In fact, this matter has been brought up during the initial negotiations. The communication facilities do not require many materials, and they are also considered as buildings of this power. As the supreme leader of the port area, Qin Ji will naturally not be involved in this. Nothing more to say above. The next day, on an island not far from Guam, several ships of materials were transported up, along with teams of Manjiu. After all, they were the builders of work like this. If the ship girls were allowed to do these things, it's really a bit too demanding. After Qin Ji completed today's daily work, he said to Liang Yu, who was the secretary ship, "Liang Yu, go prepare the command ship. Let's go to the nearby island to see the progress of the project." "Yes, Commander," Liang Yu nodded and was about to leave quickly for the port to command the ship. But after running for a few steps, he seemed to remember something. He turned to Qin Ji and said, "Commander, won't you bring a few more people with you? Didn't you say that sirens will appear in the sea recently?" Qin Ji smiled and said, "Let's not say that the siren has not appeared yet. Even if it does, our main island in the port area is only a few kilometers away from the neighboring islands. They are all within our defensive sea area. Even if there is mass production of sirens, when the model appears, it can sink them as soon as possible, so don't worry. Besides, isn't there you?" "Hee, that's true. Then I'll prepare the command ship. The commander will just come to the port as soon as he's ready." After Liang Yu finished speaking, she quickly ran towards the port. In fact, Qin Ji had nothing to prepare. He walked along the road that Liang Yu ran and walked toward the port area. When I walked to the dock, I saw that my command ship was opened by Liang Yu and the gangway was lowered to wait for me. After getting on the ship, Liang Jiao quickly put away the gangway, came to the driver's cab, opened the command ship, and then left the inner port, heading towards the island closest to Guam. The gentle sea breeze blows on the sea in summer, and the bright sunshine shines on the sea, making the sea surface so dazzling. However, Qin Ji was accustomed to this kind of scenery. After boarding the ship, he opened the refrigerator on the command line and said to Liang Yu, who was sailing the ship, "Liang Jiao, do you want Coke or tea?" "Hey, just tea." Liang Yu was stunned for a moment, turned around and saw Qin Ji standing next to the refrigerator, and immediately understood what he meant. "Well, let's take oolong tea. I've been drinking this for the past 2 days. Although it's a bit bitter, it's quite tasty." Qin Ji took out 2 bottles of iced tea, walked over and handed them to Liang Yu, and then looked out of the glass window. Looked out. "By the way, the weather has been pretty good these 2 days. Yeah, it's the rainy season in Guam now. It's rare for it not to rain for several days in a row like this." Liang Jiao unscrewed the bottle and took a sip of herbal tea. "Wow, it feels so comfortable." "Haha, it tastes good, right?" Qin Ji said with a smile. "Well, although it's a little bitter when you first put it in your mouth, you can feel the aftertaste afterwards, and in such a hot weather, drinking some herbal tea is really comfortable," Liang Jiao said. "Haha, that's why I want them, even if they don't use the command ship, to ensure that there are drinks in the refrigerator. After going to sea, there is nothing more refreshing than being able to drink cool drinks." Jin Song laughed. "Hee, it's true, I can feel it now." Liang Jiao laughed. "By the way, Commander, aren't there companies supervising the island over there? Why do you have to go there?" Qin Ji smiled and said, "You have to go and have a look, and discuss future plans with the company. The communication tower is just one part of it. It can be used as a general terminal in the future. If a large-scale naval battle occurs, the camp can also come here for supplies, and can also be stationed for joint experiments during normal times. So it's like this." Liang Yu suddenly realized. "Haha, speed up, finish these things early, and we will return to the port area early," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Yes. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 883. As soon as they docked, Qin Ji saw the busy construction scene on the island, but it was all going on. The ship girls stood aside and were looking at the drawings. Of course, the scene of the command ship docking also attracted everyone's attention, and the ship girl headed by the company quickly rushed here. Most of the people in this area are ship girls, and the only ones who can serve as command ships here are the commanders. Since the divisional deployment, the commanders of the large fleet have basically been in all directions of the island, otherwise they would not come here if there was nothing going on in their own area. But now we know that construction is going on here, and the only one who can reach the shore is Qin Ji. Commander, why are you here? Enterprise walked to Qin Ji, who had just disembarked, and asked with a smile, according to normal circumstances, shouldn't you be going on a date with the secretary ship today? Qin Ji touched his nose and said, nonsense, what's a date with the destroyer? It's obviously just for fun together. And I'm also very concerned about the future communication facilities in the port area. The Enterprise smiled and said, well, it's under construction now. In fact, if you want to come over, it's the same thing when the construction is completed and you receive the documents. The meaning of coming here when the construction is completed will be different from coming here now, Qin Ji said, and coming here this time is not to ask for something, but to come here with an idea from before. I think it should be implemented this time. Ideas? Enterprise asked in confusion, what do you think, Commander? Qin Ji said, I want to use this place not only as a communication base station, but also as a public port area. Public port area? What does the commander mean? Enterprise suddenly thought of something, but she was not sure. Qin Ji looked at Wu Wei and others aside. For a long time, each camp has focused on its own interests and rarely considered the interests of other camps. So although as a lane is an alliance, it is still very loose. But that was how it was before. After the last siren tide, you can also find that the current sirens are not as easy to deal with as before. It is already difficult for one camp to resist their offensive. Have you ever thought about it? The previous arbiters did not intentionally attack one camp, and the losses for all camps were already very heavy. So if the next large-scale battle focuses on attacking one camp, what will be the result? I think you can figure it out too. Therefore, I think the most important thing to focus on in future operations is joint operations. Depending on which camp is in trouble, the commander's fleet or the fleet composed of awakened ship girls can be eliminated depending on the situation. Of course, a certain amount of counter-attack capability must also be retained to prevent the siren from trying to divert the tiger away from the mountain. If we still maintain the state of sweeping away the snow in front of the door, then what we are waiting for is to be eaten away one by one, and in the end the future of the world will be bleak. In response to this situation, I think we should be the first to set an example, so establishing a public port area here at the communication tower can also be regarded as a response to the commitment to joint operations that I and other camps have built before. I think Commander's idea is very good, and this is what we are doing now. The strength of one camp alone cannot compete with the sirens. We must unite. Only in this way can we gain the upper hand by adding our strength together. Enterprise nodded and said, Commander Qin Ji's proposal is very good, but we are not the decision makers in the camp, but I believe that with you setting an example, and when we return and hand over the information here to them, we will definitely get a strong response, Wu Wei said. Indeed, the last time it was not Commander Qin Ji's assistance. To be honest, whether our camp can persist is a question. This idea is beneficial to our future defense and offensive strategies. It is a very good proposal. I believe that with the Archbishop I will definitely agree with my judgment. Horrible nodded and said. Several other people also expressed the same thoughts as fearless and terrible. After all, what Qin Ji mentioned was for their sake. There were several embers in his port area, so there was nothing to worry about. But now that I have made this move, it is more for the world, and this behavior makes them respect me even more. Ha, someone has to stand up and do something, and compared to you, I think it is more appropriate for me to stand up, Qin Ji said with a smile. So how do you think this public port area should be better constructed? I want to hear your opinions. If it is to be used as a public port area and as a combat center or something like that, I think in addition to necessary resting places, there must also be warehouses to facilitate the supply of ammunition, oil, and other materials, the company said. This is necessary. The rest area, warehouse, and conference area are all necessary. Otherwise, it cannot be called a public port area, Qin Ji said. In addition, do you think it is necessary to set up an entertainment area? After all, if you are fighting, they are all in a state of high tension, and proper relaxation can also relieve the stress caused by the war. I think this proposal is okay, but the entertainment area does not need to be too big. The project should be as ordinary as possible. After all, it is set up for fighting. Appropriate relaxation is okay, but excessive relaxation is not enough, Wu Wei said. Yes, in addition to this, I suggest setting up a trading area. Although some things can be shared, you can also take out some of the more advanced things in your own camp and trade them with other camps, so that you can complement each other, Su said. This suggestion is interesting, but it can be adopted, except for this, Qin Ji asked. In the following time, everyone mentioned some more interesting design areas. Of course, some of them were feasible and some were not. Even if it is not feasible, Qin Ji will explain the reason. Anyway, let's use our island as an experimental site and plan and build some feasible projects on it. This matter will be left to you to take charge of the company. Qin Ji looked at the company and said. Don't worry, Commander. I will definitely implement this matter in the next few days, and with the help of these barbarians, I believe it will be built very quickly. You can see it when you come here next time, a relatively complete public port area, the company said. Haha, that's great, Qin Ji nodded. It's getting late now, and it's time for me to return to the port area. Just report anything to me immediately. In addition, arrange for people to strengthen the area near the port area. Patrol, the siren has recently begun to revive, and a new round of battle is about to begin. Yes, Commander. On the way back, Liang Yu looked at Qin Ji's figure, hesitated for a moment, and then asked. Commander, I always feel that building a public port area is a bit thankless, Liang Jiao said. Qin Ji smiled and said, you just need to remember one thing. The siren's goal has always been us. Building a public port area is just an excuse. The most important thing for us now is to establish our prestige and gather strength. Oh, Liang Yu seemed to understand but not understand. He. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 884. Qin Ji closed the last document, rubbed his slightly sore head, and looked at Liang Yu, who was standing aside waiting. Are there any documents left today? Liang Yu shook her head. Commander, the file is gone for now, but I feel like you need to take a rest now. Qin Ji smiled and said, I have to do this kind of work every day, so I'm used to it. It doesn't matter if I take a break or not. Then let me go and make you a cup of tea. After drinking the tea, we will go on patrol, Liang Yu asked. Okay, Qin Ji smiled. Commander, wait a moment. Liang Yu immediately ran to the place where the tea sets were stored. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile when he saw this scene. Liang Yu was still a very competent secretary ship, no matter in any aspect, she was no weaker than some battleships. At this moment, his cell phone suddenly rang. Qin Ji immediately reached out to take it, and Helena's voice came from it. Of course, this Helena is the Helena summoned by Qin Ji, not the Helena of Ember. Commander, it's great that you answered the phone. Where are you now? Qin Ji smiled and said, what's going on in the office? Is there something wrong? That's great. I have a gift for you. If you have time, can you come to the swimming pool? Helena's voice sounded a little happy, but what he said also made Qin Ji a little confused. Have a gift for yourself and you have to go to the pool? What is it? However, Helena is a relatively shy girl, so Qin Ji was very happy to be able to call and say that she wanted to give her a gift, so this person would not be disappointed. I understand. I just finished processing the documents and Lianjia went to make tea for me. I will go over after I finish drinking the tea. I understand, Commander, I'll wait for you there. Well, don't go too early. Let's go in about 10 minutes. Okay, then, Commander, we'll meet you at the swimming pool. After talking on the phone, Liang Yu also brought the tea, handed it to Qin Ji and asked doubtfully, Commander, who is calling me? Is there anything wrong? Qin Ji shook his head, it's Helena. She said she had something to give to me, so I won't be patrolling the port area later. You can just report the situation to me after the patrol. Received, then I'll go now. Commander, if anything happens, call me at any time. After Liang Yu finished speaking, she left the office as fast as she could. Qin Ji was amused by this look. After drinking tea, Qin Ji also left the office, but when he just walked to the door, he saw a red figure running towards him. Commander, it's great to see you. Qin Ji looked at Daifeng, who was out of breath, and said with a smile, what's wrong? Is there anything important that you came all the way here? It's nothing. I just haven't seen Commander today, so I miss you very much. Commander, is there anything going on now? If nothing happens, how about I take you to a place, Daifeng said with a breathy voice. Of course she wouldn't tell Qin Ji because she had just met Liang Yu on the road. After asking, she found out that she was patrolling and Qin Ji was not around. Qin Ji smiled and said, thank you very much for the invitation, but I have already promised Helena, so I am a little sorry. Daifeng was stunned. She didn't know there was such a thing. What does she want to see the commander for? I don't know now, but I'm about to go to the swimming pool to have a look, Qin Ji said. What? Swimming pool? You're so cunning. You actually used such obscene means to seduce the commander. Daifeng said angrily. Qin Ji was speechless for a moment. What does this mean? Commander, why don't we go? It's obvious that she has bad intentions, Daifeng begged. Qin Ji rolled his eyes, could Helena have bad intentions? He wouldn't believe it to death. If Daifeng wanted to invite him, he really suspected that she had bad intentions. I have promised her, no matter what, I have to go and see it, so I can't accompany you today. When I have time someday, I will go with you to the place you said, although I thought so in my heart, but Qin Ji still wanted to save face for Daifeng. This. Daifeng suddenly leaned against the wall as if his strength had been drained. How could this happen? This scene made Qin Ji stunned for a moment. Is this necessary? Isn't it just a date? Well, you take a rest here first. I have to go to the swimming pool. See you later. Qin Ji decided to leave now. He knew Daifeng's temperament and she would never be angry with him. Just when Qin Ji turned around to leave, Daifeng suddenly stopped him. Commander, please wait. Huh? Qin Ji turned his head in confusion. What's wrong? Please let me go with you. By the swimming pool, Helena and St. Louis are waiting for Qin Ji's arrival. Sister Louis, do you think the commander will like this design? Helena asked St. Louis. Haha, I believe that with the commander's character, he will like it very much. After all, He has complained many times in front of me, St. Louis said with a smile. Actually, I don't think it's necessary at all. As a commander, you just need to stay behind and control the entire situation. Things like charging into battle can be left to us, Helena of Ember said, but who makes him the commander? As long as he is willing, that is the goal of our struggle. Haha, Nanachan is right, St. Louis said with a smile. Ember's Helena's eyelids twitched. After joining Qin Ji's fleet, St. Louis named her Nanachan without permission in order to distinguish her from Helena. However, is this name really suitable for her? Or is it just St. Louis' bad taste? But the interesting thing is that she couldn't refute it at all. The commander has always been thinking about everyone, so no matter what he does, he will take the lead. You may think that such a thing may be risky, but this is also his fulfillment of his promise to us and victory with us, so trust us, I will definitely protect him, Helena said. Well, Helena is right. The commander will be very happy after knowing what you two think, St. Louis smiled. Coming. At this moment, Helena of Ember looked at the entrance of the swimming pool and saw Qin Ji walking in wearing the summer commander uniform, but there was someone beside him. Why is she with the commander? Haha, Nanachan, the commander is very popular in the port area, so if you want to get closer to the commander, you still need to work harder, St. Louis smiled.